Hi and welcome to this week's episode of Pillow Talk Part 2, and this week's episode is on the Hotel Cecil, a continuation of my strange experiences at Hotel Cecil. If you guys enjoyed last week's video, definitely you're going to enjoy this one. It's more in depth and just more stories and more things that happened to me while I was there. So thumbs up this video and subscribe below if you enjoy my channel and my videos. Have a great weekend and I hope you guys enjoy this video. Bye! So in my last week's video, in my last video, I didn't say that, there's something I left out and I forgot. As when I looked back and finished editing, I'd realized I didn't add this part in. So I didn't add in the night why I was scared. If you guys watched the last video, I said that I didn't like sleeping with the lights off, and this is one of the reasons why. Well, I just didn't anyway from the get-go, but this added to it that, I noticed this after the second night. I noticed on the third night, there was like footsteps. So every time we'll be trying to sleep, we'll have like people walking around, footsteps. Like you would just hear people, like footsteps. You don't even know where they're coming from. So that really bugged me. And I just wanted to be alert. I always wanted to know who was going to, I always had a feeling that the footsteps would come towards our door and someone will open it. And there's another thing that happened that, someone that commented reminded me, because I left that out, like that clip was not put into the last week's video, the last video I just did. And it's basically, my cases were not extreme, but they were like surely weird. And it was basically other people complained the same thing, so there must be something wrong. So my cases were like someone would always knock on our door, almost like they're playing the game Knock Down Ginger. If you're British, you would know what Knock Down Ginger is, and it's basically, Americans might have a different term for it or name, but Knock Down Ginger is basically when someone knocks on your door at your house or anywhere. It could be a hotel, house, anywhere. It's just a game, and they basically knock on your door and then they run and you open the door, no one's there. That kind of thing. So I thought someone was playing Knock Down Ginger for the first few days. But every time the person will knock, like it's a serious knock, you don't even feel like anyone ran anywhere. Someone will knock and then, the person would, we'll look out, I'll look through the little peephole thing, and that's why I mentioned the peephole thing in the last video, and no one will be there. Or the one time I did see someone, I told you it was a short Hispanic guy, and he didn't look up at the peephole. Like he wasn't looking like he was waiting for someone to open the door. He was just looking like that at his shoes, like at his feet. So I was always wondering, what was that? Like, why was what are they looking for? Like, are they, who are they? Like, what do they want? And why, and if I had opened the door, what would have happened? Now, the second time I went there in 2014, I decided, and that's when I went with my brother, I decided to ask them at the front desk, I know this is so weird, what happened to the girl that died there? And sorry, I just was playing with hair weave, if you just caught that, yeah, anyway, so what happened to the girl that died there? There was a girl that died there. I walked up to the desk and I was like, before we checked in, and my brother was like, don't ask them this, it's such a weird question to ask them, especially if you're about to check into the hotel. But I was like, I just want to see what they would say. So I walked up to them and I was like, I heard a girl that was killed here. What happened to her? I heard that she was found above in the water tank, and that was last year when I came here in 2013. Did it ever get sold, or was she killed? Like, seriously, be honest with me, what happened? And the girl at the front desk was kind of smiling, but with a serious face at the same time. And she was saying, she was on speed. And I was like, some kind of, speed and ecstasy. And I was like, really? Because they said there was no drugs in her system. I've been Googling this, and she's like, yeah, well, anyway, the case is closed now. And yeah, she basically committed suicide. And I was like, it's not really, I didn't want to go into arguing with her, but I just looked at her like she's crazy, and she looked at me like, you need to stop asking me questions. So that was very weird. The fact that they don't want to answer questions about this case, and they want to sweep it under the rug. And the only reason why she even spoke to me is because I already knew about the case and I was at the hotel when it happened. If not, she was preparing to deny it, that even existed. So I felt that was very strange. The fact that they choose to deny this and make it look like this had never happened and their hotel is perfect, that's just weird stuff. Another weird thing is, and I've heard a lot of people say this, and I didn't want to believe it, but it is very true. And it's very true because all my family members that went with me say the same exact thing. My arm is hurting, I have to keep doing this. So yeah, anyway. So when you get in the elevator area, when you get to the lift, for all my British friends, when you get to the lift area, okay, so the hotel looks so, it looks 1920s on, it has that old Hollywood glam kind of look on the, in the foyer, in the hallway area when you come in. But when you get to the lift area, it's just trashy looking, not trashy, I'll just say like gritty looking, if you know what the word gritty means. Like, it just don't look good. It just looks weird and strange. And I felt that was weird. Like, that's part of their deceit. That's part of the weirdness about that whole place, is because it's like something luring you in, kind of like Pandora's box. If you guys Google what Pandora's box is, you know what I mean. It's kind of like a Pandora's box. So on the outside, it's good looking, it's pretty. On the inside, it's very dark and evil. And it's not just aesthetic, what's that word? Like, facially, it's not like that. Aesthetic, I can't say the word. Okay, Google it. Google the word too. You know what I'm trying to say if you know the word I'm trying to put out. Facially, on the body of it, it's not just like on the body of it. It's on the, like, spiritually as well. And it's like that. Like, what I mean is not spiritually. I'm talking about a human being. The actual hotel itself, when you are up in the room area, when you're in the rooms, as soon as you get past the elevator, you feel this kind of weird energy. That's the word, a kind of weird vibe going on. It's the vibe. It's not just the looks of it, it's the vibe too. So when you get past a certain point, you start to feel that vibe. And if you guys watch my other videos, I told you that I don't know if I even mentioned this in my other videos. I think I did, but you kind of get depressed almost. You kind of get sad. There's a sad feeling that comes when you're in that place. And I do not know what it is, but once I'm on the streets, I'm okay again. Once I'm back in there, that sad feeling comes in there. There's a weird feeling. So I'm always thinking, does that have anything to do with the suicides and people wanting to just randomly commit suicides while they're there? Because it's not a coincidence that people just come there to commit suicide. Why can't they commit suicide at home? Why would you check into a hotel just to commit suicide? It must be something that's already there that makes people commit suicide. There must be a spirit. Like me and my dad said, he said there must be like a spirit of death hovering around there, because people don't just check in somewhere just to do something. They could have killed themselves on the way coming. They could have killed themselves at home. They can have an overdose. Why do they choose this specific place to do that? That is, just think about it for a second. Why would you go somewhere when you could do that on your way, or like before you even, why pay money to do that? It just doesn't make sense, right? Another thing I did not mention was this hotel, inside the rooms, the beds in particular, they never stunk. That's not the word I'm going to use. I would rather say they were like not even musty. It's a smell that I can't even describe. It's more of like an old dead man. Even though I've not meant old dead man, but if I have to put it in like, if I have to categorize it into a smell, that's what I would call it, the old dead man smell, for real. Like, the beds were disturbing to sleep in, and there was a damp feeling in the bed. Like, the first room, that was when I went in 2013 with my dad, the year the Alyssa Lamb case happened. And the smell, I was just complaining to my dad about, and he was like, oh, you're just being so prissy and spoiled. And I was like, no, it's just a weird smell. Like, I didn't want to sleep on the beds, and it was damp. And then another thing too, it just smelled old. I remember everything, even from the entrance, it has an old, anyone who's been to it can understand what I'm trying to say. It has an old smell, like an old smell. And I've been to other hotels. I've been to places like Hilton, Garden Inn, just places, basic hotels, and they don't have that old man smell. It smells like an old man, like an old retired man that smokes a lot. That's another thing. Our room stunk of like cigarettes, and you would think that if they've changed the rooms and it's been cleaned out, that it wouldn't have that smell. You would at least spray it or something, Why is there an odor of an old man? I felt like we were in someone, literally, I'm not exaggerating, I felt like we were in there was a presence, like someone was, we're in someone infringing, or what's it, like we're in someone's space. That's how I felt, like we're in someone's room, because it didn't have a homely, welcoming smell to it. It smelled gross and disgusting, and that's what disturbed me. And then I had this like patch in like my bed that I was sleeping in. And I complained to my dad. I couldn't even, I had to put the covers on it. And I like to sleep with covers, but I decided to forego my covers because I didn't want to sleep directly on that patch. I was almost ready to sleep on the floor, but the floor had that kind of same weird feel to it. Everything was just gross, like someone had been living there. Even though, yes, it's a hotel, people, all, you know, thousands of people live in hotels. But in this situation, you feel like you're in someone's house. Now, come to think about it, I find out that people do actually live there. It's not just a hotel, it's like a hostel, would I say. So some people actually live there, and some creepy people if you do your research on Google. Yeah. So that would explain the smell and the stench of the old man smell I was just talking about. But then again, it doesn't explain it, because that smell should be gone. Like, why is it there? Why is it in our room? And this was not just in my room, that one room I had with my dad. This is in every year I went there up until till June. Every year I went there since 2013 till June 2015. Every time it will have that weird smell. Like, do they not spray the rooms up? Like, what's, you know, what is that? That's just, I don't like that. That created a weird vibe for me from the beginning. I was like, where are we? What century are we in? It smelled like something from decades. It didn't smell like something of the 2000s, you know? So, I don't know. So, I don't know if I said this, but I said it to my friend, so I feel like I've said it already, but yeah. So when we were there on the last day, I don't know if I said it in the first video, but anyway, I'm just going to say it again for those who, you know, didn't watch that video. So on the last day, I was to check out with my dad. This was the year that, you know, this was the time this stuff happened to Elisa. And we were to check out. This was the last day, and they have free breakfast. And the free breakfast is very boring. And they call it continental. I think that's the word they use. It's just basic breakfast is what they should call it. It's basic as hell. So, sorry, excuse my language. But yeah, their breakfast is so basic and so simple that that alone will make you miserable. So we're meant to have breakfast, and my dad, you know, that I was so done with the breakfast at that point. I was just ready. I'd rather be hungry on the plane. So I was like, you know, I'm not going to have breakfast. I'm just going to sit here and chill in the room. And I had not dressed up. I was like, I need to do my makeup. I need to do my hair. I'm not going to go down looking crazy. You know, I'm one of those people. So you probably should have known it by now. You know, anyway, so I was like, I'm not going downstairs looking crazy on the last day. I need to make, you know, look good. And I need to get dressed too for the airport, because I don't like looking crazy going to the airport too. For those of you who know me, know this. So anyway, so I was like, let me just get ready. I don't care about the breakfast. It's that gross that I'm, you know, it's just basic coffee and waffles. Like, I don't even like waffles. So I was like, whatever. So he went downstairs. He's like, oh, you're going to be hungry at the airport. I was like, don't worry. If you bring me something, okay. But he's like, oh, if you feel hungry and change your mind, this is the creepy thing he told me. That, you know, again, we had not known she had died. We didn't know her body was above us the whole time. So he said, if you change your mind, don't come downstairs on your own. Don't come downstairs on your own. Just call me on call me on my phone, and I will meet you halfway. And what's so weird is, again, we didn't know that, you know, Elisa had died here. We didn't know the history of this hotel. We didn't know anything to have had, you know, to do this, to have said this, like, to be this scared of this place. It was just a natural vibe of this building and this place. And I was like, oh, I'm not even going to call. Like, he wanted me to meet him by the elevator, like halfway. He didn't want me to get to the elevator, walk the hallways, because the hallways look very lonely and creepy. Like, you don't see much activity. You just see the people cleaning, and that, you know, you see the cleaners cleaning, and that's about it. Like, you don't really see people walking around. It's very lonely, and it's not that well lit, and there's not much cameras. So that was just creepy. So even with my dad, it was creepy, and he's a man. Like, I'm with a man, and I'm still kind of scared. Like, I just want to get to the elevator and get out of the hallway area. So I was like, you know what, I'm not even going to take that risk. This food ain't worth my life. That's how I felt. And remember, I did not know that someone was dead already. You know, if I'd known that would have creeped me out the more, I wouldn't even stay in the room. I'd be like, I don't care if I look crazy. I'm going to go down and eat breakfast. I'm just not going to be on my own. So with, you know, I'm going to follow him looking crazy, whatever. So I wouldn't have stayed on my own in the room, you know, and while my dad was downstairs, if I had known that someone was dead above us, if I had known the history of this hotel. But I had known better not to walk down by myself, and I refused to walk down by myself, or even to just meet him halfway, because he told me, just meet me halfway, and, you know, I will be on the other side. I'll be, you know, near the elevator. And I didn't even want to just, and from where our room was to the elevator, it would have been the longest walk. It's short, but it would have been the longest walk because it's that scary looking. So I was like, I'm not even going to do that. So I told him, you know what, he called me, he's like, are you going to come? I can come up and meet you halfway. And I was like, don't worry, I'm not even going to come down. Forget it, just bring me coffee. I'm not going to come down. I just had a bad feeling and I was not going to go down. Like, again, the food ain't worth my life, basically. So this brings me to my next part. So when I was in the room, I was just scared, like just scared of just the whole vibe there. Scared, you know, I've always got a weird vibe since the beginning we stepped into this hotel. But again, when I was on my own, it became very real because my dad was not with me anymore. So that's when the whole vibe of just being scared came. So I was watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and the TV just kept going up. Like I wanted to lower it so I can be alert in case anyone walks past, if I hear any footsteps. Mind you, we're by the fire exit, you know, and you know, it comes off. It looks like it's just a weird area it's a weird area where we were put in, and this fire exit is open. So like it looks like anyone from the streets could walk up, and you know, we didn't like that where we were positioned, and my dad was just, you know, concerned about that. So I was concerned about that too. So I felt like any homeless person off the street or, you know, crazy person can just walk up and do anything and escape through the same place, the fire exit. So I was just very alert because of that. And it just was scary. We were at the back of the building, basically, on one of the highest floors. So I was just turning down the volume because it was loud and I was just scared. But I wanted to be very vigilant and alert to sound. So, you know, anyone walking past, I can be ready, even though I had no weapon with me, but I just want to be ready. So I'm going to get to you about weapons next after this. So I turned down the volume of the TV. This is probably one of the weirdest things that ever happened in this hotel. And every time I turned it down, it went up. And I turned it down and it went up. And I turned it down and it went up. And it was almost like it was a fight. And I was like, what is going on? I thought it was the TV that was messed up. And I just spoke out loud. I was like, who is it? Who's playing with the TV? As if I'm talking to someone. And I felt someone was literally in the room. I became so scared. I went to the bed and just sat down, didn't know what to do. And I was like, I just had to talk aloud. I was like, do not stop. Like, stop doing that. Like I was talking to someone, but I wasn't. At that point, I just got scared. I went and shut the shower door because if you watch my other videos, you'll realize that the air vents in the shower are just, I felt that someone was in there watching me the whole time, every time I take a shower there. So I was like, let me go and close those entries that someone could come into the room and just do something to me. So I shut that door because I didn't want to see the air vent and I didn't want, you know, I was just scared and I was just praying that my dad just comes up quickly. So I was just, you know, it was scary. So he came up finally, but even before he came up, we have this security measure we took from the beginning. Now, we have this security measure me and my dad take from the beginning since we entered this hotel. And it's basically putting our heavy luggage against the door, or against our doors. And again, we don't know that, you know, Alyssa was killed here. We don't know the history of this hotel. This is our first time being there. So how we came up with that is just very weird. So we put our luggage against the door and heavy luggage. My dad knew that from day one. And then that same day we went to, and this is just a tip for everyone, just a life tip. Whenever you go to a hotel, I thought this was very smart because I did it each time I went again. When I didn't even go with my dad, I went with my brother and my mom, you know, last time in June. For anywhere you go, to any hotel you go, even if it's the most fanciest, expensive 5-star hotel, this is a tip, you guys. This is a tip for you. Put your luggage against the door, your heaviest luggage that you have against the door. So in the middle of the night, this is what my dad told me, in the middle of the night, that if you're awake, if you're in deep sleep and someone is trying to break into your room, you would hear it and the luggage will fall. So you have enough time to grab something and attack that person. And it would also at the same time deter them from quickly entering your room and attacking you, or even sneakily and quietly entering your room while you're in deep sleep and attacking you. So it's a very smart way of just being safe, no matter where you are, even if it's a 5-star hotel. That's what my dad taught me. And we did that. And it actually worked because, again, I told you that one time someone was like kind of opening our door and it helped us, you know, because the luggage shook, the door shook because of the luggage, and it was room service. So no one creepy. Well, they said they were room service. I don't know if I want to believe them. They went away. So I don't know. That's another whole story. So not just that, and then also another security measure you take which my dad also taught me, and we practiced it on the same day. The first day we got there was to buy an empty, we went straight to the corner store and we bought some, you know, empty glass Coke, not cans, empty glass Coke bottles and Fanta bottles or whatever, just glass bottles, even a wine bottle. Buy at least 2, 3 or 4 because you don't know what kind of violent attack you can get involved in. And you don't know if they have weapons, but if you don't carry a gun to a hotel or a pocket knife, just have something like that so you can at least break someone's neck with the glass. Like, seriously, like smash it across someone's head. Like, it's just so thoughtful. Like, you have to be really on the safe side because you can't just let someone open your door and attack you. This is just what we practiced there, and it made me feel just slightly safer, but still, you know, it's just, but then if you're dealing with ghosts, that's a whole nother thing. It's not going to work with ghosts. So yeah, that's that. So before I forget this one thing, because I keep forgetting this, another weird thing about this hotel is they do not like to accept responsibility. This is very strange. I've never seen it in any business establishment whatsoever. So for instance, we would come in with our laptops, our digital cameras, and, you know, things that we don't want to carry around the fashion district or carry around Hollywood or carry around downtown LA, because downtown LA point blank period is dangerous. You want to carry, you know, expensive stuff around all the time. You might just be mugged or something, you know. So anyway, so we would, you know, not want to carry our laptops. It's very heavy, especially when you're walking around the fashion district or Santee Alley, if you guys know where that is. You know, you don't want to walk around the market area with that. It's just heavy. So, and you don't want to attract that attention to yourself. There's just so many people who are looking for opportunists, looking for an opportunity to steal and do stuff down there. It's just dangerous. It's not necessary. So what we would do is we would leave our laptops at the front, because they have this thing where you could leave your laptop at the front of the hotel and they will take care of it. But you have to sign a waiver that they are not responsible for if it's broken, you know, if it's broken into, like where they keep it. They have it in this big file place where they keep things. Like almost like where you keep, almost like a letterbox, a mailbox. You know, if you have a PO box, kind of like that. They look like that. So they'll put it inside that and they'll say they're not responsible for it, and you have to sign that. So we don't want to leave it in our rooms, because I'll get to that, why we don't want to leave it in our rooms. They make you sign that as well for your rooms, that you're not, you know, when you first come to a hotel, they make you sign a waiver that they're not responsible for anything that's stolen in your room. So this makes me think that, okay, if it's locked up behind the, you know, not till, behind where other people, member of the public or member, you know, people in the hotel can get to it, then you, the staff, are the ones who are looking after it. So why should it ever go missing unless you're basically telling us you guys steal it? So, like think about it. Like, if none of the regular people in the hotel can get to it, then who is getting to it that could potentially steal it, or it's, you know, or it could be damaged? So what we would do is we'll take out, I was like, okay, they're basically letting us know they can steal our stuff. So I'm not going to be stupid. So what we do is we take out the battery out of my, you know, I'll take the battery out of my laptop and I'll give them just the bare laptop. I'll take out all the important stuff for my laptop, like my memory cards or anything that I would deem important, that if I lost it, I would break down in tears and have a fit, you know? And I'll take the batteries out of the, you know, camera. And now I think back at it, you know, that wouldn't have even worked anyway. If they want to really steal something and sell it, they can. So it just makes you think, why would we have to sign a waiver if there's something that no one else from the general public can get a hold of? Why do we need to sign a waiver? We basically signing a waiver to let you guys steal our stuff. Why do we have to sign a waiver for the rooms as well, that if anything goes missing in the rooms, where they're not covered? Why are you not covered? It's your hotel. You're meant to protect the rooms. What's the job of the security there? You know, like, so it makes me wonder, do they just make money off of going stealing expensive items in people's room? Again, things of mine will just move around while I'm in the room. So I'll have perfume that would move around. Like I had a Chanel perfume. I'll put it on one side and hide it under a pillow, and room service will come and mess it around, like move it and put it somewhere it shouldn't be. That just annoyed me. Sometimes I'll have to take my perfume with me. Or, you know, anything I would deem expensive and pricey, like, you know, something pricey for me, I would take it around with me because I wouldn't want to take chances. I always felt that they were up to stealing and taking people's stuff. So, you know, it's just weird. I don't know. They don't want to accept responsibility. Even on our last day, me and my brother left our luggage in the front of, there's a place where they take care of people's luggage while you're waiting for while you're waiting for your flight. You have time, but you still want to go around and do a little bit more shopping. So they'll look after your luggage, but not really look after your luggage, because again, they make you sign a waiver that they're not responsible if your luggage goes missing. That's so strange. Why take care of it then if you're not responsible? Then we should just haul it around the whole of downtown and just keep it with us, because if you guys are keeping it, why can't you keep some kind of responsibility with it? Does it make sense? Like, comment below. Does that make sense to you? Weird people. Another weird thing was the people. There was some certain people, again, if you remember what I just said, they have like people who are like residents who live there. Some people who just look like they live there and are just doing nothing. Like, they just walk around downtown, because I would see them sometimes in the downtown area just walking around, and then they'll return to the hotel at night, and they just look like, because I'm just going to point this out because I found this straight up weird. There was like two men, and they clearly lived together. They were not gay or anything. Like, they just didn't, give me those vibes, but like, they were just living together, and I just was wondering what their business was. Like, what were they doing together? Like why do these two men live together? These two grown men, and they were just so strange. This was in 2014 when I went with my brother. They were so strange. They would just stare at us, like, and that was so creepy. They were just like stare at me and my brother, and we didn't even like get in the elevator with them because they were so creepy. We'll always notice them. We'll see them at breakfast. We'll see them around downtown LA, and it's like, who are these two creepy men? What did they do? What are they doing renting a hotel room all the time? And what is their job? They didn't seem to like they'll go in anywhere. Like, they were just so weird. There were so many strange characters like that. There was also a man that this was in June when I went with my mum, and it was more scary because I'm with a woman. I'm not even with a man this time, so I was more scared of this man. And he was like, again, something you can see from a horror movie, and he was really big, really tall. If you guys watch wrestling, WWE wrestling, you guys go Google Kane. He looked just like Kane, just with grey hair. Kane or The Undertaker. He has those personalities, but he has Kane's look. And he's very tall and just very like creepy. And he has like a blank facial expression. I don't know who this guy is, but he would just walk around like, I wish I can stand up and show you. Like, he'll just walk around like this, but with no expression on his face. And me and my mum were so creeped out by him. He would have no like life in his face, almost like a ghost, but he's not. I'm not gonna just put that ghost thing out there in your brains. He's human, but he's just weird human. Like, I don't want to call anyone weird, but he was weird. Like, the weirdest person I've seen in my life. He was just like he's very hench and like very like big in the body. So every time, one day the elevator opened up and he was in it, and I was that scared. I didn't want to just risk it. I told my mum, let's act like we're not going in the elevator. Let's just, move along somewhere else, just act like, we're not going in the elevator. Just don't go, because, I just like, let's not go. I don't want to be trapped in there with him, because he was just looking down like this, and then he looked up at us like that. Not an inviting look. Normally when the elevator door opens, people are like, okay, you can come in, or they're coming out. He was just like looking at us like, you better not come in here or I'll kill you. Like that kind of look. And it's just like, I don't want to risk it. That guy is creepy. I wonder if he's still there. Like, if any of you guys that, comment on my videos that want, that are planning to go, try and look out for this guy. He is white. He is very tall. He has that body. And he looks just like Kane from wrestling, just with grey hair and grey facial hair. He's much older. I'd say in his late 40s or 50s. And that guy is just weird. He needs to be looked out for. Like, I just... Oh. So another thing that happened when I was there, that again, there's so many strange things about this place. It never ends. Was a man who came off the street and walked straight upstairs into the hotel. And my mum pointed this to the security and was like, are you not going to chase him? Like, he came off the streets. He's not even paying here. He's not paying customer. He came off the streets. What is he doing running into, like walking fast into the hotel? And the security did not care. He just looked at my mum like she's the one who's crazy, and accusing him of just not, paying to be here. Like, he's welcome here. So the security man just was like, no, he's a guest here. And he just didn't care. And the guy at the front was like, no, he's not a guest here. He just came off the street. So the guy at the front desk was like telling the security man to chase him. The security man took forever to do that, and he really didn't care. Like, he wasn't about to chase him. Almost like he was scared to even go looking for him. Like, he knows these kind of people come here all the time, and he's not going to challenge them. So I just wonder, why is it that easy for anyone off the street to access this place, that, you know, to go to the floors where people are basically in their rooms sleeping, or in their rooms? How are people off? Why is there no proper security? Or why did the security not care enough? Like, you have one job to do. Why can't you do your job correctly and protect the people who are paying to sleep here and lay their heads here at night? Why are you letting people off the street in the hotel? That was just so weird. Why do people off the street come in here so easily? Like, that, I don't know. So last but not least, this was a situation that happened when I was with my mum, and this was right after, you know, if you guys watch my other clips and my other videos, this was right after that man had committed suicide there. And, you know, the man had jumped off. This was 2015 in June. So the man had jumped off the building, and I was wondering what was going on. So I decided to ask this couple, I say loosely. And I asked them, did you guys, because I saw this girl come in and she had the shortest skirt on, and she came in, she's a Hispanic looking girl, but she looked like she was mixed with black or something. Like, I couldn't really pinpoint exactly what was her race. But the guy that she came in with, which was like her, I say this loosely, like her boyfriend, but very loosely, it really wasn't. You can just tell. He was black, and he was almost looking like he was controlling her. So I'm assuming she was a prostitute. So, you know, some kind of hooker or some kind of escort, because she looked very controlled, like muted, like she couldn't talk to me. So I looked at her and I was like, do you know what happened outside there? Because I was just trying to get my investigation thing going on. I want to know before I proceeded to the rooms what was going on. So I was like, do you know what's going on outside there? There's like lots of police cars, there's LAPD, there's a coroner van outside there, the car, you know, that takes the dead bodies away, the crime investigation car, you know. And I was telling her, like, all this is craziness, like, do you know what's going on? And she just walked in, and, you know, she's walking in, she's okay with it. And before I even said that, there's an Asian girl, and, you know, who walked out like she was, you know, her face was like she had seen a ghost, and she was scared. So I was thinking, this girl, you know, should be scared as well, but she seemed okay with it. Like, and she looked at me like I am crazy. Like, no, I'm just coming back. Like, not checking in, because she's obviously checked in, but she's coming back from where she went outside. And she's like, I'm just coming back to my room. And she didn't want to talk to me. She didn't really want to give me any attention. And she didn't seem scared too. And I found that so weird. And I found it so weird that, you know, she was not bothered. And that's another thing. A lot of people there are not bothered about the creepiness of this place. They just seem all like desensitized, like they've seen it all. And again, I point back to the fact that I believe she was a prostitute, because the guy kind of looked at me like, don't talk to her, almost like she's an animal or his piece of meat. You know, that's how it was. And she was very like shy, almost like she had her hands like that. She was very shy and timid looking. And then later on, when I was, you know, I'd known what had happened, I know it was a suicide, and I was back to the hallway area. I saw her upstairs, and I saw them not far from our room checking in. And I think, you know, I believe she was a prostitute. So it makes me believe, you know, I see a lot of girls like that there who are very scantily dressed and basically with nothing on. And it's like a lot of prostitution goes on there. It just drew my mind, like my attention to the fact that weird stuff is going on there, like drugs and prostitution. You always smell weed in the hallway sometimes, random smell of weed. So it just makes me think, who are these people? I call them drifters. They come and they go, and they bring in weird people. Who are all these people that come here? It's just not adding up. So that's that for this episode, or this pillow talk part 2. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I sure did enjoy talking to you guys. It was fun. And let's comment below, like, what theories you guys, you know, got from my video, and what you guys think could, you know, what you guys think could be happening there. Let's talk below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do enjoy this series, and I hope you guys have a blessed week. Thank you, and definitely subscribe if you liked my channel, and have a great week. Bye.